There's a high possibility after you watch this movie, you're gonna want a piece of pizza. No spoilers, but trust me, you might just want to eat one, because it's definitely made me want to eat one. A Quiet Place Day One stars Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, and is about a woman named Sam finds herself trapped in New York City during the early stages of an invasion by alien creatures with ultra hearing. Written and directed by Michael Sonorsky, the man who brought you the 2021 film Pig starring Nicolas Cage, which is a very good movie, comes the brand new Quiet Place film. Now, this movie is a prequel to the other two films, and John Krasinski, I believe, has a story credit for this movie, and he probably produced it. But he is not returning as director. This is from the director of Pig, and I'll say this. I wasn't the biggest fan of Quiet Place Part 2. I really enjoyed the movie, but my favorite part of that movie was the opening scene where it was day one apocalypse for John Krasinski's family. This movie is a prequel of that entirely, just set in New York and new characters. Listen, I was a little nervous going in because there's no John Krasinski behind the camera, but the director of Pig, I had full faith in, and after walking out of this movie, this is a very entertaining prequel. This movie, I don't think is better than the first one, but I really enjoyed my time with this one. I think I liked it more than part two, honestly. And starting with my biggest positives is Lupita Nyong'o. There's a reason she has an Oscar. She is so good in this movie with very little dialogue throughout the most of the movie. She just does so much with her eyes, her facial expression. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o is fantastic, and the script gives her so much character work to work with that throughout this entire movie, that like the emotional beats of this movie to me were the best parts of this movie. I think Lupita Nyong'o is fantastic in this movie, but also the scene stealer is her cat. Her cat is adorable, and then obviously she runs into Joseph Quinn throughout this New York City run, and he is also very good in this movie. He doesn't talk too much either because when they meet him, they meet him like during when it's quiet. So he doesn't talk too much, but he also is very good with his just facial work and his just little character beats that we get to learn about him. And together, you basically care for these characters in very high tension situations. Just like the other two movies, the sound design, the sound mixing is just out of this world. I saw this in IMAX with like at least 80 people in my theater, and I swear to you, there are scenes that just in the entire theater is just quiet. I love that. That was one of the best parts about those first two movies, and that continues throughout this movie. There's some scenes that are really just like, ooh, there's one scene in particular with Joseph Quinn. It involves him climbing a pole. There is an oh shit moment that I was like, oh, and it was really good. The director of this movie, who did Pig, did a very good job in this movie. He really did a good job on the character work. Like, these characters that you're following, you really do care for them, and it does a really good job setting this movie up to where dangerous things are happening around these people, but it's always about the character emotions and their story arcs, because there's going to be people who see this movie, and they are not going to like a certain reason why Lupita Nyong'o is not trying to get out of the city right away. There's going to be people like that completely like, that's just stupid. I actually get that, but I think the movie does a really good job at giving her the reasons why she wants to stay a little bit longer for certain reasons, because without spoiling it, she does have a medical issue in this movie, and she is very much weak compared to Joseph Quinn, and you put all this in situations in New York City, the loudest city, in a quiet place. That just sounds like a perfect ingredient. I think the movie did a really good job elevating all the ideas it could. Now, when it comes more to my issues, I will say this, and this honestly, it bugged me a little bit. When the attack happens, as soon as the thing happens, the meteors come down and things start happening, we jump instantly into survival mode with a lot of people in a certain room, and they know to be quiet. And to me, again, as audience members, we've already seen two movies. We know, be quiet. But for me, these people in New York City learn to be really quiet too quick. It kind of bothered me. I was like, you're telling me in New York City, this many people learned how to be quiet in like 2 hours, an hour, and most of this movie, you don't see a lot of chaotic, like loud people. When those moments do happen, they're very small. And I just didn't really believe that. I was like, you're in New York City. There should be way more hectic problems than there was shown in this movie. Now, that's probably maybe due to like the budget and what the story is trying to tell. So there's stuff like that where I can see why it wasn't that. But for me, it's a little unbelievable for an alien invasion movie, which is already out of this world. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it felt like the New York setting was really cool, but the actual sound of New York didn't get to be used as much as I thought it was gonna be. And another thing is, I do find that sometimes the movie just kind of slows down too many times. I mean, there's great character work. Don't even get me like there's an opening scene with a puppet that was really perfect, and then there's obviously the attack, and then it slows down. There's a little intense scene, and it slows down. Sometimes it feels like it's kind of like the pacing is a little up and down a little bit, but for the most part, I really enjoy this movie. This is a perfect summer blockbuster for movies for people to go see. It's great to go into a movie like this with high tension scenes and to be really quiet. And in the end, Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn just prove like how good they are, especially Lupita Nyong'o. But more importantly, this director definitely has my eye, and I want to see what he can do next. I'm gonna give A Quiet Place Day 1 a B+. Now I have given my grade. I'm going to tell you a spoiler for certain people because people do ask these questions about a movie when there's animals involved. So I have given my grade. Spoiler alert, I am about to spoil a certain thing. The cat does not die. There you go. Anyway, guys, enjoy this movie review, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody!